welcome to the Talk Time segment on TVC Breakfast, and it's on the package you just watched that we're going to base our discussion on basically today's discussion. Well, the Senate has confirmed 8 ministerial nominees sent to it by President Goodluck Jonathan, like you know. However, the screening of former Minister of State of Defense, Senator Musiliu Obanikoro, resulted to the flaring up of tensions and subsequent walkout by APC senators, raising different constitutional and judicial observations backed by Senate traditions. Opposition senators kicked against Musiliu Obanikoro's nomination. Well, part of Obanikoro's sins were allegations of electoral rigging, misuse of ministerial powers, and abuse of public office while he was Minister of State for Defense. They had also cited 2 pending court cases instituted against the nominee. And joining us in the studio to discuss this is a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Lagos Chapter, Mr. SAMSON Davis. And with him, welcome to the program.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us. And then with him is the spokesperson for the APC in Lagos, Joe Igbokwe, is the publicity secretary of the APC Lagos State Chapter. Thank you for joining us on the program.
How are you today?
Thank you very much. And let me start with you first off. What's your immediate reaction to the confirmation of Senator Musiliu Obanikoro as the Minister of State for Defense again?
You had me. I describe it, as impunity and brigandage taken to a frightening dimension. The type never known in the history of this country, that somebody's name was mentioned in an action or actions that were inimical to national interest. Actions that if they had bothered to investigate, would have unearthed, so many things that would have helped this nation to make progress. You see, the problem of this country is, I'm going to just quote a Bible for you this morning, that when offenders are not punished, the people's, hearts are schemed to continue to do wrong. That's what we see here. Impunity all over the place. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Nothing's going to happen. And then the nation is going down gradually. 3 senators from Lagos said, look, we don't want you to clear this man. He has a problem with his, we have a problem with him. Nigeria has a problem with him. The rules of the House, and established rules of the House, that when 2 senators raise an objection about it, but 2 senators from that state where the minister is coming from, they raise issues about the integrity of that person or honor of that person, that Senate should not clear. Because there's so many other persons that are qualified to do the job. Secondly, there's a case in court by one Kemi Lawal,
yes,
asking that his name Obanikoro should not be cleared as a minister until the issues on ground are addressed. But he was just asked to take a bow. No questions, even when other senators, APC senators, walked out, voice votes, and, he was just cleared. For how many months, how many months remaining?
Let me get Mr. David.
Why are you in a hurry to make him a minister?
As a PDP chieftain, of course, is a member of your party, and your party is the ruling party, and then controlling the Senate. Do you think that the process to which Senator Obanikoro was cleared was legal enough?
Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to balance this report. The clearance of Senator Musiliu Obanikoro is not different, is not in any way different from the clearance of any other person. Like I said in my reaction yesterday, this is not the first time 3 senators of the opposition in the Senate will object to the clearance of a PDP senator, ministerial nominee. It happened in Osun State just in 2014, where the 3 senators from Osun State objected the clearance of Adeshi. Now, they tried as much as possible to convince everyone that their positions were not partisan, but it was obvious. As a matter of fact, expecting APC senators to lay credence or support in the nomination of, any PDP nominee, irrespective of whosoever the person is. It's more or less like it's either the person is romancing the APC or the person has one or two plans to come to the APC. In the case of Obanikoro, his case are clear.
So you're saying it was good in any way that the Senate President and, of course, the PDP senators, they flouted the House rule, because there's a ground rule that once two senators from any state go against the nomination of any nominee from their state, the House rule is that such person should not be confirmed as a minister. Are you saying it was right what happened on the floor of the Senate?
I am saying that cannot be the rule. That cannot also be the position, because it's happened several times. And there has always been objections, especially from the part of the APC senators. They've always had one issue or the other. There's always a consensus. There's always a directive to stop a supposed PDP strong, ministerial nominee. So in the case of Obanikoro, I see their reaction as a rehearsal of what happened in the case of Adesina. So it is expected. It is just expected. I don't expect them to support Obanikoro. I expect them to object. And in the wisdom of the Senate President, he was able to manage, the egos of everybody, manage and listen to everybody. He was able to hear them out. What are your positions? What are your grounds? On what basis are you saying we should not, clear this guy? What are the reasons? And everything was trashed out. They were listened to.
What they really listened to. We'll come back to that and, of course, other prevailing issues around the confirmation of Senator Musiliu Obanikoro in a moment. Let's take an excerpt of what transpired on the floor of the Senate.
4 out of the 8 ministerial nominees had earlier been screened last week. And when others came up for screening, it was a smooth ride for 3 of them, except for that of ex-Senator Obanikoro. Tempers flared up when he entered the chamber. Raising different constitutional and judicial observations backed by Senate traditions, opposition senators kicked against Musiliu Obanikoro's nomination.
Previous senators from Lagos have opposed this, and I think we should abide with our convention. Otherwise, we have made no sense of that custom. We are senators from Lagos State. We are not here to represent ourselves. We have the mandate of our constituencies before we are here. And we must reflect their feelings. We also talk to our constituencies, and they are also aware of what this tradition is. And they've said that the best the Senate can do in its wisdom is to defer this screening until such a time when we feel, or the public feel, that enough justice has been done.
But despite the appeals for Senate traditions to be obeyed by suspending the nomination, the PDP-dominated Senate eventually asked Obanikoro to bow and go.
Yes, is it the wish of the Senate that Senator Obanikoro should be allowed to take a bow and go? Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
And the laws of Nigeria is very clear. You are innocent until you are proven guilty, and that is what played out on the floor of the Senate. And the Senate, in its wisdom, having known that this is the law of Nigeria and this is the constitution of Nigeria, and that every Nigerian is entitled to this privilege, went ahead to do what it is supposed by law to do, which is confirmation of somebody that is on the floor of the Senate who has not been convicted of anything.
In retaliation, the opposition senators also staged a walkout where they addressed journalists.
3 senators from Lagos objected to this nomination, the nomination of Obanikoro, Senator Obanikoro. And yet, the Senate President and his colleagues from the PDP decided to take advantage of their numbers to override what is supposed to be basically a very, very straightforward issue. So we really wonder whether we want to grow democracy in this country or we want to destroy this democracy. I have said his action is a breach. He should have stayed to clear himself. The matter is in court, and one of the rules of the Senate is what? Where a matter is in court, Senate cannot deliberate on it. If in the past, Senator Dagash was not confirmed by the Senate, why would we now turn around and say the tradition is that once a senator, always a senator, and you must always take a bow? Nigerians are being deceived.
We are patriots. Yeah. We are fighting for our country, but we are fighting for our country under the rule of law. So we allow the court case to go its own home. What the Senate have done today can be nullified by court. And if it's nullified by court, that screening stands null and void.
Okay. The senators had opposed Obanikoro's nomination due to allegations of electoral rigging, misuse of ministerial powers, and abuse of public office while he was the Minister of State for Defense. They had also cited 2 pending court cases instituted against the nominee. SAMSON TVC News, Abuja.
And we're still discussing that the confirmation of Senator Obanikoro. Let me come to you now, Mr. Igbokwe. What's the reason given by the Senate President, David Mark, for confirming Obanikoro, saying that he did not get any court order barring him from going ahead with it, despite the rule that once a case is in court, the Senate, the assemblies basically should stay away from such a discussion or even acting on such case. Now, was it tenable enough? He said he didn't get any court order.
The Senate President is a pathological liar and a congenital liar for that matter. You see, why were these names being mentioned? Let's talk about it. He gave instances of Adesina from, is it Osun State or Ekiti State? Osun State. Why was his name being mentioned? Why did the senators kick against his nomination? His name was mentioned in the murder of Shibola Ige, the former Attorney General of the Federation. When the matter was mentioned on the floor of the Senate, he was shedding tears. Why are we opposing the candidate of Obanikoro to be cleared as a minister? Because his name was mentioned in the Ekiti State scandal. He has been cleared before as a senator, as a minister, and as an ambassador. Why is this one different? Did you ask yourself? You see, somebody told me that if we fight corruption in this country, corruption will fight back. Not only Ekiti State, Ekiti gets scandal. We're also talking about what he did as a junior minister in Lagos, when he took soldiers to Ilubirin Estate, where Lagos is building housing complex for Lagosians. He tries to stop the job, insisting that the place is owned by the federal government. It was a war situation. Chase the contractors away. Go to that place and see what is going on. You see, it's either you want to build democracy or you don't want. There are set down rules, guidelines, norms, things that you must do to uphold democracy. What the Senate President would have done is to say, look, 3 senators from your state are opposing. It's a standing rule in the Senate. Let us investigate what is going on. Do you know they never believed, they have not even believed in this Ekiti scandal. Nobody's talking about it. And you just set this aside and pretend that nothing is happening and then go on with business as usual. These things, these little things we do from the corners of our houses, in our offices, where we work, problems, little problems we create for ourselves, will one day magnify to be a big problem that we may not be able to manage.
We have a caller from Asaba. Hello, Tony. Good morning to you. Give us your opinion.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. Go ahead. If you can see me, I'm telling you to.
Yeah,
talk.
good morning, everybody in the studio there.
Good morning. Good morning.
I just want to chip in something to that issue. All of us are no more kids in Nigeria. We are seeing things that are happening in this nation now. It's no more in news to us. This is just no more in news. It has been our tradition. But in a country we have a one-party system. It's very bad. It's very dubious that some people will take Nigeria for a ride. Something that is meant to be debated upon becomes a one-sided issue. It's very bad in Nigeria. I don't know whether we are growing our democracy or we are killing it. If you are no more a member of the PDP, you are no more in existence in Nigeria. It's obvious. Thank you very much. That's just what I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tony Asaba, from Asaba for your contribution. Now, Mr. Davis, let's explore the moral aspect of this. Why do you think at least the Senate didn't put Obanikoro on the stand to answer questions, especially about the alleged Ekiti Gate scandal? Why tell them to take a bow when you know that this land has many issues, basically, about the Ekiti governorship elections in 2014?
Yeah, basically, we keep talking about tradition, we keep talking about norms of the Senate. We can't decide to take some section of the norms in the Senate and then jettison the rest. If it's also a norm in the same Senate that when former senators appear as ministerial nominees, they should take a bow. Why don't we just want to follow that in this case?
So why didn't they follow the rule of the same norm of the House that once two senators from the state go against the nomination of a candidate from their state, the House shouldn't go ahead with such a...
I've also been able to explain to you that it is not new that a member of a particular party, APC in particular, would object to the nomination of a PDP, ministerial nominee. In the reference made by my brother Joe Igbokwe, he was citing how Adesina was, alleged in a particular, murder of Chief Bola Ige. If we are to go into the details of who and who were alleged or who and who were pinpointing several different cases, those people should not even hold any political office today or any nomination today. And these guys are members of the APC. In the murder of Funshaw Williams, a lot of APC chieftains were fingered. Where are they today? So the point I'm making simply is, you see, this is politics. And like I said before, it is expected. When it comes, both parties will have to listen to each other. The Senate president, like my brother also said, cannot and should not have been described as, a liar, as he mentioned. This is Senator David Mark is actually the stabilizing factor in the Nigerian National Assembly today. He's been able to manage the egos of both parties. He's been able to calm nerves, he's been able to listen to them, he's been able to get them to even hear their views.
He ruled the APC senators out of order when they made their points about that.
Look,
but before you make any comment, let's quickly take this call from Mogaji. Hello, good morning to you, Mogaji. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Yes, what I'm trying to do.
Go ahead, Mogaji.
Hello?
Good morning, Mogaji. We can hear you.
Yeah, what I'm trying to suggest in this issue, I want Nigerians to see this thing in one way. We should forget about sentiment and look for the way of moving this country forward. The issue of Obanikoro should not bring any matter about what people are saying about it. Where are we going? The democracy of Nigeria, we should build it. By putting people that we know they can do better for our nation. But the issue of bringing opposition party or this and that, the way what I saw Senate during the confirmation of Obanikoro, let me to feel ashamed. If people like Senate will move out from this issue because of Obanikoro in Rome, where are we taking our nation to? And the one is watching what we are doing. So I want to suggest that let the APC
lost your call there, Mogaji, but thank you for your contribution. You were making your point.
Yeah. I was also going to state to you, like, what the Senate President did happens in every board of every company. Where you have a 5-man board, for instance, and there are, different views on some members of the board. The board votes, they put it to a vote. So what the Senate President, the custom in the Senate is to always put it to vote of the ayes and the nays. And you can hear it yourself. It was audible. We all saw it. And he asked, those in favor should say aye. Those against should say nay. You can hear it yourself. It was audible. So it was not a fraudulent clearance. It was not the making of the Senate President. He made everybody hear his view. In short, if at the first presentation of Senator Obanikoro for clearance, if he had been cleared, you would have said the Senate President ruled them. He didn't even bother to listen to anybody. So, there were consultations, there were discussions, there were submissions. They tried as much as possible. The Senate President, created a platform for the senators to, hear their views, hear their issues, to probably see if the issues can be resolved. But when he appeared like, the issues were more personal.
But what about, let's forget the personal aspect of it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, like you said, there are 2 court cases against Obanikoro's nomination and confirmation, basically. Yeah. So why didn't the Senate toe that line and say, okay, let's stay away from this until it is settled by the law? Because, of course, there are many issues like that. The use of military for elections, which is in court. That is why the lawmakers are staying away from it for now. So why didn't he stay away from it, saying that he didn't get any court order, even though Nigerians know about the 2 court cases? But before you say anything there, excuse me, we have another caller, ABDURAHMAN from ABUJA. Good morning, ABDURAHMAN.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, President, and our guests in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my contribution towards this Obanikoro nomination or confirmation is, I think we are in the impunity. I mean, we are not in democratic system. We are in the impunity system because somebody that was having some issues. I mean, in the advanced country, if a person was pinpointed with anything like a corruption or otherwise, he said humbly, even if he's a minister, he should step aside to prove to the country that I am innocent before he come back for his ministerial whatever. But in Nigeria, he has all the issues, but he has the guts and confidence even to enter the Senate to stand for nomination. And he is happy that he was not even asked. If he is not guilty, he should have, even if Senate President said we should not, we let him just take by, say, no, let me clear my name. Because there is issues against me on a scandal or 4. I mean, he is just happy that, okay, let's just allow me to go. And the issue of nay has taken, according to our guest, yes has taken, according to our guest, PDP has a majority in the Senate. So therefore, what do you expect? Whether I think, even if it is somebody that is from a prison that PDP presents, I'm sure those senators from PDP would definitely say yes, because they feel PDP is a family. Whether Nigerians like it or not, that person must be enforced because the PDP want him to be. So it's quite unfortunate, and I pray one day our democratic system will play very well and our country will go up like the other country in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ABDURAHMAN from ABUJA, for your contribution. Let me ask you first, before I come to you for that line of thought. The APC senators in the Senate walked out of the Senate. Was that even right in the first place to walk out on the Senate President?
Yes. If you cannot do the right thing, they just try to register protest. Now, what you have just done is to use the power of majority to present a wrong person. My friend talked about boardroom. If your name is dented in a board of 5 members, you can't even come there. It's not the type, that boardroom example that you cited doesn't play the kind of game we play in Abuja. What PDP showed us, even if you bring a goat, so long as it's a card-carrying member of PDP, they will claim And go. We are setting a dangerous precedence in this country. Like I said, corruption is fighting back from all angles. Let me cite another example. Femi Fani-Kayode, who is the media manager, media director of President,
The PDP campaign organization.
has a case of money laundering in court. And when he appeared in court last week, he came with a retinue of police officers, army officers, DSS officers as guards, to the court of law. What does that suggest to you? What does it tell you? Is it for the fact that I have told you that Obanikoro has been cleared as a minister before. He has been cleared as an ambassador. Why this? Why did we have problem with this? Because of Ekiti Gate scandal. Ministers' names were mentioned.
We have
governor's name
I have to
was
cut
mentioned.
you there because we have another caller and it's been holding on for a long time. Apologies for that. Hello, Musa, are you still there? Good morning to you. You're calling us from Abuja.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning. Sorry for holding you on for so long.
No problem. Well, please, I want to contribute to this.
Go ahead.
Well, as I said, I am very disappointed about what happened in the Senate because I don't know what kind of message these people are trying to pass to us. This is very embarrassing. You understand? We oncoming youth, I don't know what kind of message they are trying to pass to us because this is dangerous to our Nigerians' business. They don't used to abide by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We don't have law no more in this country. You know why I said so? Because this thing is so clear. This guy has a criminal record. You understand? And they went ahead to nominate him. The highest thing they could do, those who are supporting the motion and those who are not support, you understand? Even if the people are against this, you understand? They are not going to listen to them. This is a very disgraceful thing for them to do. You remember this guy, Fani Kayoshi? He was on APC. If you can listen to the video that he played, that they are playing on media, it's very embarrassing. You understand? Insulting Mr. President, insulting any other members of the PDP, and now you are back again. What are you going to what are you trying to tell us? Saying that the APC is a trend to join, and we should try to move this country forward. Now he's turning back again to insult APC, which is not right. So please, I want our people to open our eyes. You understand? Let's open our eyes and join the moving trend, which is APC. Let's change this country once and for all.
Thank you, sir, for your contribution. Thank you there. Thank you, of course, for your own opinion on what we are discussing. Mr. Davis, we're talking about the Senate President now saying that he wasn't aware and he wasn't served any court order, though Nigerians are aware that there are 2 court cases against Obanikoro's nomination and confirmation.
My reaction to that is just simple. The Senate President, I watched him live, he said he has not been served. And as the Senate President, he cannot be served on the pages of the newspapers. Now, the case of serving somebody via, the pages of the newspapers is called substituted service. Now, the Senate President cannot be served by substituted means. If there are objections to the service, please bring it out. He has said it. He has a right to to hear his own view, to tell Nigerians that, you know what, if there are cases against this guy, I have not been served. If there are proofs of service on the Senate President, please produce him. You can't refer the Senate President to a newspaper publication.